The small village of Ogunk woke slowly each morning, like an old man stretching his bones. The air smelled of roasted corn and wood smoke. Palm trees waved lazily against the golden sky, and the cries of hawkers blended with the distant bleating of goats. It was in this quiet town that Lailah Adeyemi grew up, a girl whose beauty was as gentle as the morning sun. She had eyes that sparkled with curiosity, hands that never tired of work, and a smile that could warm even the coldest heart. She lived with her parents in a small mud brick house on the edge of the village. Her father, Mr. Adeyemi, was a retired teacher, quiet, strict, and wise. Her mother, Mama Dupe, was a food seller who sold bean cakes and pap by the roadside. Together, they had raised Lailah with faith, discipline, and dreams far bigger than their circumstances. Lailah, remember, her father often said, pointing his finger in that teacherly way of his, "A woman's beauty will fade, but her wisdom and hard work will shine forever." She would nod obediently, her heart full of ambition. She wanted to become a nurse. She wanted to lift her parents out of poverty, to make them proud. But life, like the weather, can change without warning. It was a blazing afternoon when she met Bosco. The motor park was noisy as usual, conductors shouting destinations, drivers honking, and touts arguing over passengers. Lailah had gone there to send a parcel to her aunt in Ibadan. She stood by the kiosk, clutching her brown envelope, when she heard a loud voice behind her. "Fine girl, where you dey go with that your serious face?" She turned, startled. Before her stood a tall, broad man with dark skin glistening with sweat. He wore ripped jeans, a sleeveless shirt, and a heavy gold chain that looked suspiciously fake. His smile was bold, his eyes mischievous. "Good afternoon," she said politely, stepping aside. "Ah." "She even greet," he laughed, flashing his gold tooth. "You must be new here. I for dawn see that fine face before." She ignored him and walked away, but Bosco wasn't used to being ignored. He followed her, calling out, "My name na Bosco, but people dey call me chairman for park. If you need anything, I dey here." That was how it began. At first, she dismissed him, but Bosco had a strange kind of charm, the rough, confident energy that drew attention. He started visiting her mother's food stand, buying bean cakes every morning, cracking jokes, and helping her carry her basin across the street. "Your daughter too fine," he told Mama Dupe once, winking. "If Nami, I go lock her inside house, so boys no go snatch him." Her mother laughed nervously, thinking it was a joke. She didn't know that joke would soon become her greatest fear. Weeks passed, and Lailah began to see another side of Bosco, the softer, unexpected side. When he wasn't shouting at drivers or collecting park levies, he was surprisingly gentle with her. He told stories about his difficult childhood, about losing his mother at 14 and being raised by the streets. "I no go lie to you, Lailah," he said one evening as they sat by the riverside, watching the sun dip behind the trees. "I no finish school. Na hustle, I dey hustle since I small. But you dey different. You dey make me want better life." Those words pierced her heart. No one had ever spoken to her like that. Before long, she began to care for him, deeply. Against all warnings, she believed she could change him. When her parents discovered she was seeing him, chaos erupted. "You want to destroy your life?" her father shouted. "That man is a tout, a drunkard. You, my only child, want to marry such a man?" Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Papa, he's not as bad as people say. He just needs love." Her mother held her face, pleading, "My daughter, love cannot feed you. Love cannot protect you from blows or hunger." Her parent pleaded. They prayed. They even involved the pastor, who warned her gently, "My daughter, not every man who says, 'I love you,' is sent from God." Still, she refused. At last, her father sighed in defeat. "If we stop her, she may harm herself," he whispered. "Let God judge between us." But Lailah was deaf. The more they opposed, the deeper she fell. And when Bosco finally proposed, with a cheap silver ring he had bought at the market, she said yes. The wedding was a small, noisy affair in Bosco's town. Drummers played, dancers twirled, and the smell of jollof rice filled the air. But Lailah's parents sat quietly at the back, their smiles tight and heavy. Her father leaned toward his wife and whispered, "We are giving her to sorrow." Mama Dupe wept silently. Still, the bride glowed with joy, her heart bursting with hope. She believed love would conquer everything. But barely a month after moving in with Bosco, the cracks began to show. He stopped providing for her. He no longer came home early. When he did, he was drunk, smelling of gin and cigarette smoke. "Bosco, we have no food," she whispered one night, holding her stomach. "I'm pregnant." He laughed. "And so? Not only you don carry bell before? You go fine." She started selling akara by the roadside. Even with a heavy belly, she stood under the scorching sun, frying, coughing, sweating, surviving. When labor came suddenly one evening, strangers rushed her to the hospital. She had no baby clothes, no money, nothing. When they called Bosco, he said coldly over the phone, "I no get money. Na woman matter be that. She go deliver." He didn't come. Strangers contributed money to help her. She gave birth to a baby boy, tiny, beautiful, and innocent. She named him Toby, meaning God is good, though her heart was breaking. Years passed like dry wind. She gave birth 2 more times. 3 children in 3 years. She was only 23, yet her body looked 40. Her hands were calloused, her feet cracked, her face lined with worry. She worked endlessly, cleaning houses, washing clothes, cooking in restaurants, anything to feed her children. Bosco never changed. He spent his days drinking, fighting, and sleeping around. Sometimes he came home angry, breaking plates, shouting at her, blaming her for his failures. "You think I'm happy? You think I like this life? If not for you and your crying children." She said nothing. She only worked harder. One day, as she carried laundry home from a client's house, she collapsed on the roadside. Passers-by rushed her to the hospital. "Madam, you have high blood pressure and diabetes," the doctor said gently. "You must rest, or your body will give up." She laughed weakly. "Rest? If I rest, who will feed my children?" She left the hospital the next morning and returned to work. But her body was failing. She fainted more often. Sometimes her neighbors helped, sometimes they just watched with pity. 5 years later, on a blazing afternoon, she collapsed again while returning from the market. This time, she didn't wake up. The doctors tried everything, but her heart stopped. When Bosco came, his eyes were red, not from tears, but from drink. He stared at her lifeless body and muttered, "So, she just die like that? Now, who go cook for me?" The nurses turned away in disgust. The next day, Bosco disappeared, leaving behind 3 hungry children. When word reached Ogundele, her mother came weeping. She gathered the 3 children into her arms, her tears wetting their hair. My daughter, she cried into the night, if only you had listened, if only you had listened. The house that once echoed with laughter was now filled with silence. Every evening, the old woman sat on her porch, staring at the sky, whispering prayers only heaven could hear. Parents do not hate your love. They fear your heartbreak. They do not wish to control you. They wish to protect you. Love is sweet, but only when mixed with wisdom. When elders see what you cannot, listen, for their eyes have seen many suns rise and fall.